Why do some dreams leave such a powerful impact on us? In this video, we'll explore every feeling you can't shake after a bad dream and discover why they linger long after the dream is over. First one is dream hangover. You wake up and the dream is already dissolving. The specific details, the faces, the sequence of events, they're going fast, the way they always do. But the feeling is still there. Heavy and specific, attached to nothing you can now point to. The dream that caused it is largely gone. The emotional residue it left is entirely present. You are awake, in your room, in the ordinary morning, and you are also still somewhere inside something that no longer quite exists. This is called a dream hangover, the persistence of the emotional tone of a dream into waking consciousness after the content has faded. The emotional tone of a dream is not just a psychological experience, it's a physiological state. Cortisol levels, heart rate, the activation of the nervous system, all shaped by what the dreaming brain was processing. Waking up changes the cognitive content. It doesn't immediately reset the physiological state. The hangover clears, usually, given enough time and enough of the ordinary world to reassert itself. But in the gap, in the first hours where the dream is gone and the feeling isn't, you're carrying something that doesn't have a name anymore. The thing that caused it has dissolved. Only its weight remains. Let's move on to number 2, residual dread. Something was wrong in the dream. Not necessarily something dramatic. Sometimes the wrongness was ambient, a quality of the dream world rather than a specific event. A sense of threat without a clear source. And now you are awake, and it is not happening, and the threat was not real. And yet the dread has not received the memo. It is here, in the morning, running at a register the waking world has given it no reason for. Residual dread is the continuation of a threat response state beyond the dream context that generated it. The amygdala does not distinguish efficiently between dreamed and real threats. It fired as if the threat were real. And the hormonal consequences of that firing don't resolve the moment consciousness returns. The dread tends to be worst in the first minutes of waking, when the cognitive systems that apply reality testing are not yet fully online. By mid-morning, in most cases, it has passed. The rational context reasserts, the cortisol clears, the dream recedes. But for the duration of its stay, the residual dread is as real as any other dread. The fact that its source was a dream does not make the feeling less present. It just makes it considerably harder to explain to anyone else over breakfast. Number 3, false memory bleed. You wake from a dream, and something in you is not entirely certain. Not about dramatic things, usually. Small ones. Did that conversation actually happen? Or did you dream it? Did you already send that message? Or was that the dream version? Is the slight unease you feel about a particular person based on something they actually did? Or something your dreaming mind invented and presented with the conviction of a real event? False memory bleed is the contamination of waking memory by dream content. It occurs when the brain fails to clearly tag a memory as dream-sourced during the consolidation process. The memory encoding system during REM sleep is active and productive, but does not consistently apply the markers that distinguish dreamed events from real ones. The content is stored, the label is missing. Most of the time, the bleed resolves with context. Other memories of the same period reassert themselves. The dream memory loses its grip as real memories crowd around it. But in the early morning, before the context is reassembled, you are occasionally in the position of not entirely knowing which of your memories are yours, which happened in the world, and which the night invented and handed to you as if they had. Now let's jump to number 4, emotional imprint. The dream contained something, a feeling, a quality of connection or its loss, a tenderness, a specific emotional register you don't often have access to in waking life. And the dream is gone now, or mostly gone. But the emotional territory it opened is still open. You have been somewhere, emotionally, that you are not usually allowed. And the return to the ordinary emotional temperature of your day feels this morning like a step down from something. An emotional imprint is the residue left when a dream accesses emotional material that the waking mind has less contact with. Dreams have a well-documented tendency to process emotional content not given adequate attention during waking hours. The suppressed feeling, the unacknowledged grief, the tenderness that has no adequate outlet. These things find the dream state hospitable in ways that waking life, with its demands and its constant forward motion, often isn't. The imprint is not always painful. Sometimes it's a reminder that emotional territories exist in you that the daily life has lost access to. That warmth is available, that something you thought you'd stopped feeling is still there. The dream showed you something real about yourself. It just required you to be asleep to see it. Number 5. The betrayal dream effect. You dreamed that someone betrayed you. A partner, a friend, someone close. The dream presented it with the specific texture of reality. The details were convincing. The emotions were genuine. The hurt was the real kind. And then you woke up, and they are there, innocent of everything the dream charged them with, having done nothing while you were asleep. And yet something is present. A residue. A slight coolness you know is unjustified and cannot entirely shake. The betrayal dream effect is the persistence of negative feeling toward a real person based on the behavior of their dream version. The amygdala processed a genuine threat during REM sleep. The threat happened to be represented by someone familiar. Waking does not immediately unpair the association. For a period, the feeling and the person remain linked, even though the rational mind has access to the information that would sever the link. Most people find the effect fades within an hour or two, given enough ordinary interaction with the real person. The most useful response, which most people eventually arrive at, is to tell the person. Not as an accusation, as an absurdity. The naming dissolves it. The real person gets to be innocent, and the dream gets acknowledged for what it was. 6th. Somatic dream residue. You wake and something is in the body, not quite a feeling, more of a physical state that corresponds to an emotional one. A heaviness in the chest that belongs to sadness, a tension in the jaw that belongs to anger, a tightness in the throat that belongs to something that in the dream may have wanted to be said or cried or expressed. The dream is gone. The body is still in it. Somatic dream residue is the physical manifestation of emotional processing that occurred during sleep and was not fully discharged before waking. Emotional states produce physical states. During a dream in which these were active, the body was expressing them physically, even while lying still. The waking body inherits whatever state the dreaming body was in at the moment of transition. The most direct way to clear somatic residue is through the body. Movement, breath, physical activity. The body that is still holding a dream needs to be moved through it rather than thought out of it. The rational mind can acknowledge the dream was not real. The chest that is still heavy from it doesn't respond to argument. It responds to motion. It clears. But it clears on its own terms, in its own language. 7th. Lucid collapse anxiety. You were aware in the dream that you were dreaming. The lucidity came in, the recognition that this was a dream, and you were inside it. And then something happened. The lucidity was partial. You were aware it was a dream, but could not fully exit it. Or you thought you had woken up but hadn't. Or you woke up and found yourself still dreaming. The layers between sleep and waking became uncertain in a way that produced its own specific unease. Lucid collapse anxiety is the disorientation produced when partial or failed lucidity creates uncertainty about the boundaries between dreaming and waking. It's most associated with false awakenings, dreaming that you have woken up, sometimes multiple times in sequence, only to find that each apparent waking was another layer of dream. The experience produces a specific variety of dread, not the content of any nightmare, the structure of the situation itself. The anxiety lingers because it touches something genuinely unsettling about consciousness. The certainty that you are awake rests on exactly the kind of evidence that the false awakening undermined. The question it leaves behind is the kind better encountered briefly than examined at length. Mood contamination. The dream was bad, or strange, or carried a quality of sadness or dread or unresolved feeling that has no clean description. And the day has started, and the dream is receding, and you are doing the ordinary things. And yet the day has a tint to it. Not wrong exactly, just slightly colored by something that arrived in the night and has not entirely left. The coffee tastes the same. The light is the same. You are moving through the morning slightly differently, and the difference has a source you can name but cannot quite locate. Mood contamination is the coloring of waking experience by the effective residue of a dream. It operates below the level of specific content. The dream hangover is attached to a feeling you can identify. Mood contamination is less specific. The general tinting of the day by the emotional weather of the night, present everywhere and localized nowhere. The contamination clears. It responds to the ordinary textures of the day, to the re-establishment of waking mood through waking events. But for the hours it persists, you are carrying the weather of another world into this one. A world that existed only while you slept. That is entirely gone now, except for this. The slight tint it gave the morning. Have you ever felt this way after a bad dream? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more videos.